Hello, happy Wednesday. This is the point in the video in which I get really close to the camera so I can do things on the computer while everyone starts to arrive. I see people. Welcome. Thanks for looking at my eyeball. One more thing to do, and then I can move away from the camera so you don't have to look at me so closely. There you go. It's better, isn't it? Well, okay, one more time. I lied. Get my lighting in place. I mean, this is so technical, isn't it? Getting lighting in place. Zooming in on my hair. How's everybody doing? Thank you. I showered today. Some days you just have to shower first thing in the morning, and other days you don't. Today was a shower in the morning day. Thank you. I'm glad you liked my hair. What are we drawing? Today we are drawing Oscar the Grouch. I know sometimes we all feel a little bit grouchy, and Oscar is one of my, he really is one of my more favorite Sesame Street characters because he was a little grouchy, but everybody loved Oscar, and he really loved everybody too. He just could be a grump about it, and I think he was a great way of showing, you know, we all kind of have different personalities. Oscar had a different personality. Hi. And Oscar had a friend who I loved whenever, I'm not sure if when I was a kid, there was like Grouch, he had a girlfriend. I'm not sure if she was around much when I was a kid. He had another little friend who was around all the time when I was a kid, and I absolutely included him on this drawing. So, yeah, so today is Oscar. Hopefully plan on doing more Sesame Street and Muppet type characters because they're really one of my favorite and a really fun memory from when I was a kid. And I do see a lot of requests coming through, fairies, different mascots. Those are all on our list. And remember, our mascots always happen on Mondays. So, we have a ton of them to get through, so every Monday there will be a different mascot, so don't be upset if yours isn't right away. I'm sure it will be coming. I'm glad hubby and you had a date night drawing the turtles. The turtle drawings were really cute. We got some really cute versions of turtles. I love seeing those drawings at the end. Hi, Mom. My mom is here. Elmo's World. Yeah, we kind of have to draw Elmo. So today you are going to need the standard supplies of a pencil. I didn't even take mine out. That's how super duper prepared I am today. But I did shower. So, paper, pencil, and then, pen, and then for colors, let's see, I'll pull some out here on the fly. I'm doing a yellow and a red. I'm doing brown for his gigantic eyebrow. He had a pretty great unibrow. I'm doing green for Oscar himself. I need an orange because his friend has the color orange in him. And then for the trash can, I'm going to do a gray. Like a dark gray. So those are my colors today. I think that's all I need. That's it. So you guys ready to see the drawing for today? Let's flip you around, show you Oscar the Grouch. There he is. And Oscar's friend, Slimy. So Slimy was like my favorite. I always loved when Slimy was in with Oscar. He's the little worm. And I even had Oscar's sign saying, "I love Slimy." So you can, you can draw your Oscar with the sign, without the sign. You can include Slimy or not include Slimy. You could even put him up on like the top of the lid of the trash can. Oscar the Grouch was from Sesame Street. He was a popular character on Sesame Street. And then Slimy was the little worm who was his friend. And then you could write, if you make the sign, you can write whatever you want on the sign. So he's grouchy, but I did give him a little bit of a smile, and he is showing his love for his friend Slimy today. But he could also say, "I love trash." Oscar loved trash. That's another funny thing you could put on the sign. So that is our Oscar. So we're going to start again with our shapes. We're going to start with his head. We're going to add in hands. But see how he has all this hair? We do that detail at the end. So at first it's just going to be really smooth lines. Then we'll add his trash can in. So that is our drawing for today. So get your paper and all of your supplies ready if you haven't already. And we will get going on Oscar. So to start with for Oscar, I'm going to kind of put his head here in the middle of the page, and I'm just going to draw an oval. Shape, just like that. So that's the start for his face. I have Forky on my list, so we will be drawing Forky soon. In fact, probably next week is when Forky's going to happen. I'm trying to schedule him out a little bit. So that's the first piece, is his face. And now his hand is going to be here off to the side. So I'm going to do kind of a hot dog shape here for his hand. Just like that. And I'll add the fingers and stuff after. But we'll keep it simple at first and just give him this generic shape. And once you have that shape on, you can erase the face line that's inside of it. So his head is kind of resting inside of his hand. And we'll do a little neckline. He had a wide neck, so you're coming pretty close out to the edge of the bottom, about where it starts to curve up. And you're just going to do a slightly curved line down for his neck. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the trash can lid on his head. So I'm going to start the lid kind of off to the sides. And it's going to be a curved line that comes around across the top of his head. It's okay if it's a little higher than the top of his head. And then back around the other side. So just like that. So just kind of a curved line and then a curved line on this side. If you, you can go the line right across, or it can be a little bit higher than where his head is. However that kind of works for you. The top of the trash can will be a rectangle shape with curved edges. So remember, you can just draw it as a rectangle. Just do a line up here, a line up here, and go straight across, and then go back in and draw your curved lines. Or if you're feeling brave and you just want to try to curve that line at the start, you just draw that curve right into the line. And this side is a little bit thicker than this side, and that's okay because it's a trash can lid. And his trash cans were always kind of beat up, so I'm not really worried about the shape of his trash can being super perfect. Your trash can lid can be really wonky. It can be really dented and however you want to make it. And the lid needs a handle. So I'm going to do another curved rectangular shape up at the top. Smaller. One like this. And then one more right inside that. That's just a little smaller. And now I've made a handle. Just like so. And if you're late, it's okay. You can kind of try to catch up, or if you're feeling really rushed, then you can do it after the video's finished and start from the beginning. So Forky, we've had a lot of requests for Forky, and here is another Stacy fun fact is I have not seen the most recent Toy Story, and I want to watch it before we draw Forky. So I know the character because he seems like a pretty popular character. I tried to watch it on Sunday, but my son really wanted to watch Onward because we hadn't seen that yet. And we'll be drawing that this Friday. So we'll be doing something from Onward this Friday. Now in his trash can, I'm just going to do a couple little lines for just that detail of the trash can. Yeah, Onward was really great. That was a really fun movie. So I think we're going to draw the van. What? Which one of the Jones children might this be? I'll see it this weekend. I promise. I have seen all the other Toy Stories and I really liked them. I just haven't seen the most recent one. I'm a busy lady, man. I'm on the go. Not now, but you know, at one time I used to be a very busy lady. Now I'm a busy lady who draws. So let's work on Oscar's fingers. Hi, Sadie. So I'm going to have one finger that's kind of running along the side of his face. So see how I did it right here. So it's just following his face. So right above where we ended this hot dog shape, I'm going to just kind of come out a little bit from the side of the face and then make that a triangle shape that curves and connects back down into our hot dog shape. So see how I just added one little triangle off to the side? And that's for the finger that's on his face. I'm going to actually bring it down into the hot dog shape a bit. And now from this corner, I'm going to do another curved triangle going in. It's going to come out of this hot dog shape a little. So curve up above and then come back down. Hi, Mari. Looked like you had a really good birthday yesterday. I was jealous of your donuts. And now one more finger coming off of this finger. We're going to do one more point that curves in and connects to the bottom of this part of the hot dog. And now we can erase, if you want to, some of these little lines, the little hot dog lines that are inside the finger. And now we've just built his hand. So we turned that hot dog shape into a hand. Now the trash can body, it's going to be an oval shape. So I'm going to start my oval out here off to the side of the hand. And I'm going to probably cut right through the hand line, come across, and then back around. So really, this is like a long, skinny hot dog too. I'm just not doing the top part of the line. So this is going to be the inside of his trash can. And now for me, this part of the hand doesn't meet the line. So I'm going to bring it down because that hand should be going down inside the trash can. I'll give you just a little bit to catch up. Oh, hi, Tammy. Now my sister's here. And now we want to do the other fingers. It is a big breadstick. That's another good shape for it. It's like a big giant breadstick. You're just not doing that line across the top. So for the 3 fingers that are hanging over the edge, I'm going to do a curved line up that comes down into the trash can and then is a point back up. See that? So I curved up, went down into a point and back up. And I'm going to do 2 more of these shapes building off of this one, and each one will be a little bit smaller. So I'll do 1 more building off of here, coming down and back in, and then 1 final one coming down and back in that's smaller. And there are his fingers. And then we'll end up erasing this little line that goes inside of his fingers. So it looks like his fingers are hanging over the edge of the trash can. Just like that. I'll erase them a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. See, just like that. Now he has his 1 hand up here and 1 hand down here. And to finish off that trash can shape, you're just going to bring a line straight down, a line on the other side, straight down, about the same length. And then I just slightly curved that line and connected it on the other side. And now he is in. I haven't found an erasing song yet. I promise next week we'll have some sort of erasing song. So now he is inside of his trash can. And I'm going to put his trash can on a surface, so I'm just going to draw a line from one edge to the other. So my can is sitting on something. And let's give the trash can a handle. So I'm going to put it kind of over here off to the side. I'm going to do 2 lines up and down, just like that. 2 little lines. And then off of that line, I'm going to draw a curved rectangle without that top line. I don't know, yesterday you guys all came up with some pretty great little songs. You can sing your own little erasing song in your head. And then I want to do 1 more, just a little bit smaller inside. And now I have my handle. So now we have our Oscar shape. Still need to do his face. His face is just a couple small pieces. We have his hands, his trash can lid. And now I'm going to give him a sign that he's hanging on to. So I'm going to draw a rectangle off to the side of that handle. Or it can be a square, or it could be a circle. And then I'll draw a cord coming up into his hand. So 2 skinny lines on each side. So it looks like he's holding on to that sign. And remember, you can leave the sign off. You can write whatever you like on your side. Yours is holding a Target bag. That's great. That's a good option. Target bag. We all love Target. We do have a squirrel and chipmunk on our list, and we do have a monkey. So let's start in on his face. So for his face, I'm going to do this curved line, like I'm doing kind of a wave or a squiggle. So I'm going to curve down, curve up. Oh, I messed that one up already. See, let me start that over. Curve down, curve up. I'm going to come to a point and then curve back up, down and up. So almost like I'm drawing an upper lip. That's the same shape I would do for a lip. And this is going to be his eyebrow. He had this giant, what's called like a unibrow, where the eyebrow is all one piece. So it just kind of looks like the curve of an upper lip. And then you're going to round off the ends and make that shape on the top as well. Just follow your lines. So you end up with this. Yeah, yours is sinks. It could say wash your hands, which is kind of ironic considering that he lives in a trash can. His eyes come right off of his unibrow, and they're just circles. So 2 circle shapes that come right off of that unibrow. And then inside of those eyes, you do 2 more black circles, which I will color them black, but 2 more circles for the pupil of his eye. And with Oscar, I'm actually not going to do the circle of light because you really didn't see that in the drawings of Oscar or in Oscar himself. So we're just going to color these in completely black today. A little different than we're used to. And now you can do his mouth. You can make his mouth grumpy. You can do it wavy, make it grumpy, or you can just I just gave him the slightest smile. And that is the Oscar the Grouch. He looks a little bit funny right now because he's not hairy. But I'm actually just going to add the hair in when I go in with pen. So I'll explain how I do that when I move to pen. And the reason I suggest doing that hair with pen is it shouldn't look perfect at all. So it's okay if it comes out a little wonky. It's supposed to look kind of like furry hair. So you're going to add some wavy lines, some little points, and I'll talk you through that when we go in through the pen. So I'm going to add a couple other little details here on the can. Just going to do some lines down my can just to add some detail. And where I'm making these lines on the bottom, I'm going to try to kind of match them up top. Remember how you can do that? You can pretend like you're drawing and then drop your pencil where you want to actually make the line. And now they're pretty even top to bottom. And then last but not least, I'm going to include Slimy. Now, I drew Slimy down on the ground in the last picture. Today, I'm going to put Slimy right on top of his can lid. So Slimy is a worm. So he is really just a long worm shape. So he's curved. I want him touching the can. And then I'm going to have him coming up off of the can. Just like that. And Slimy had a stripe for his face. So his face will live in here. And then he had lines that were closer together all the way down his body. And again, you don't have to do Slimy, or you can put him somewhere else. You could even have him down here on the edge of his hand. You could even write on your sign, like I'm gonna write, I love Slimy. I could have written I heart and then drew Slimy. So on my sign, I'm gonna put I'm gonna draw a heart, which is almost like a good way to dissect a heart is make a curved teardrop and then do another teardrop and then erase the line in the middle. So it's like 2 teardrops make up a heart and then you erase that middle line. So if you're learning how to draw hearts, that's an easy way to do it. And, you know, those are those types of things I think that are fun to do. I've talked to you about that before, where spend a day just doodling on a page. If you're learning how to draw hearts or squares, or you want to perfect your circles more, just spend a day adding those little shapes all over to a piece of paper. And that will give you time to practice. And then in capital letters, I'm going to write Slimy. Slimy. And now my Oscar is done. Aside from when I go in with the pen, I'm going to add the details of the hair. So to start, I'm going to do the trash can lid first. So I'm going to come up in here and put that trash can on my page first. I'm going to come and make the handle one piece. So I'm going to stop my line right there, then come up into my handle, back down and around. And then on the inside, I'm just going to do that rectangle. So I'm going to erase these 2 little lines right here. But it's okay if you drew them, if you made your handle like a really separate piece. Let's add these little detail lines. Kind of looks like the ripples of the can. And then let's do Slimy. And his stripes. He was like an earthworm. earthworms, you know, kind of have that striped look to their body. And then a little dot for his eye and a tiny little smile. So see, there's my slimy face. And I'm going to do this bottom part of the can here. I'm going to save Oscar himself for last so I can do that fur for you. So I'll go into the can first. Remember, it's okay if your can lines are a little wavy because usually he was in a pretty dented, beat up trash can. And it'll just add character to your can. Put the handle in, the little detail lines. You could even have trash. Maybe you'll draw some trash in your can or some trash kind of overflowing from the can. You saw that a lot with Oscar, where there would just be a lot of trash around him, eaten apple cores, empty cups. Sign in there. The other little handle over here. And the words on the sign. So someone said they didn't know who Oscar was. Have you guys watched Sesame Street? And if so, who was your favorite Sesame Street character? Now, I'm going to start on his eyebrows. His eyebrows, I'm just doing wavy. So see that? So I'm just going to come on top of where that line is and just make it wavy and rough. And if you want to keep him smooth, that's fine. You can do that too. So that's how I'm making his eyebrow look furry. His eyes aren't furry, so I'll just do those nice and smooth. Trying to hold my paper up so you can see it a little closer. And now I'll start on his hand. So I'm going to come up from the hand and I'm going to do a little point. See how I did that? So I'm following the line, but then every once in a while I'm just going to add these little points out of it, and that's going to give that fur appearance. You can also make the lines kind of wavy. I'll do a little one here off of that finger. Some off of this. And all those little points and wavy lines give him a look of fur. So now I'll do the same thing from his head. I'll come down, I'll add a little point off. And another little point, and another down here, and then down into his face. So see, it went from a smooth line to, by adding just these tiny little points, it makes it look like hair. On the underside, do it a little wavy, then maybe another one little point down right there. And then just doing points at random up into the top of his head. These fingers are on top of the can. They can have a little bit of fur look to them. You can also just make it kind of a wavy line. His neck. And then lastly, his mouth, and I'm just going to do his mouth a wavy, rough line also. just like that. So now he has this kind of furry look by having all of these little points off of him. And that is my Oscar drawing. So now I'm going to go ahead and erase, and then I will color those eyes in black after because it's a little bit bigger of a space and I want to make sure I don't accidentally smear it with my eraser. Because sometimes when you color it in black with a pen, oh, I forgot a line. Let's do the ground. Sometimes if you color that in with pen first, if it's bigger, it needs time to dry, and then you can accidentally smudge it with your eraser. So sometimes I like to do those after the erasing. Are you all singing your erasing song while we erase? I wipe off my eraser dust so I can see where I still have spots. I have a little bit in the hand here still. Mouth, hand. Sometimes you have to wipe that dust away to see what you're left with. And there we go. So I'm going to start coloring Slimy. Slimy had a red face, and then every other section on his body was red. So I'm going to leave this one white, color the next one in red, white, next one red. So every other section, if you sectioned him off, you're going to color red or whatever color you might be doing Slimy in. And then I'm also going to use red for the heart on my sign. And then the other color in Slimy is orange. So on those sections that are white, I'm just going to color those in orange. And for Oscar, let's do his eyes. So I'm coloring this part of his eyes black. This middle section. All of the Sesame Street and kind of Muppet characters, they all had what kind of look like googly eyes. You know, those little eyes that have the black circles that move around. They all kind of had that. So we're not doing that circle of light in these. We're just giving more of a googly eye look. I'm going to use a brown for his eyebrows. And because I did the edges a little rough to make them look furry, I color them with a circular motion. And that helps me get into those little nooks and crannies I made. So I still stay in the lines. If I colored it too straight, it would be much more difficult. So I'm just doing a circular motion with my pencil. Turn my page a little bit. Man, Sesame Street, when I was a kid, that was like, you know, we didn't have access to shows all the time, so you kind of just had to watch what was on, and Sesame Street was one of my favorites. So there's his eyebrow. I decided to make the sign yellow, so I'm going to go in with the yellow of the sign around the edges. And a lot of kids now know Elmo, which was Sesame Street, but if I remember right, and if there's someone my age in here, I don't think we had Elmo, did we? Elmo wasn't on Sesame Street when we were kids. He wasn't born yet. It is totally okay if you use marker. You can use anything you like. We have people who do digital art and create it on an iPad. We have people who paint. So you use any artwork, any coloring tool. That's why now I just tell you, use your favorite coloring tool or whichever one you have handy. Sometimes we've had people do our drawings and all they have are highlighters, and they'll just use whatever color highlighters they have and make it work. So there is my sign. And now I'm going to come in and do Oscar. I'll start here on his fingers, going around those edges. And I'll go ahead and do that neckline. And now I can just kind of color those fingers in a little faster. And I'll come along the edge of the trash can. And go up into those little points and along the edge. Since they're points and not wavy lines, it's a little easier to color those in with a straight up and down movement versus that circular movement. You do circular when you have more of a wavy line. When you have those sharp points, it's easier to get into that space with a up and down or back and forth motion. What is the name of the green color? On my pencil, it's called grass green. That's what color mine is. But you can use any green that you like. And now I can color this a little quicker, come down into his eyebrows. And because I'm working in pencil, I don't have to worry about being careful not to touch that eyebrow. It's not going to go in it. If you're working in pen, you'll have to be a little bit more careful because if you put your green on top of the brown, you're going to see it. Coloring all of his face. Just filling all of this area with green. And if when you're coloring, especially with pencil, if you feel like you're getting a lot of lines in your artwork where you're seeing a lot of the white through, if you just kind of change, like maybe you colored straight this way, so then go back in with a circular motion, it'll kind of help blend that in. It does that with crayon too. Pen is just kind of you get what you get once you put it on the paper. It's a little harder to blend with pen unless you're using some sort of special pen. And then I'm just going to go along his mouth a little bit darker. by just pushing a little bit harder. And coloring just takes practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. You know, just like practicing those shapes. Another good thing with practicing those shapes is if you just keep practicing coloring those shapes in, that's going to help you color too. And now I'm going to use a gray, and I'm going to do the underside of the trash can lid dark. I'm going to push harder. I'm going to do the inside of the can darker, and I'm going to do the handle on the body of the can darker. And then everything else I'm going to color a lighter. Same color pencil, I'm just going to push lighter. So I'm not going to push as hard. I'm excited to see your Oscars when you're all finished. I know some of you might say you don't think you're good at coloring, or you think your drawing looks funny. I think they're all good. I love seeing them after. Everyone's has their own little personality to it. And remember, you can load them into the Oscar album, or you can load them directly on the page, or if you are on Instagram, you can tag me in a story there and I will share them there as well. You can just find me with the same name, Draw with Stacy. Doing the inside of this can. We have families who draw with us every single day, and I start to recognize their faces and look forward to seeing their pictures and see what they created. I'm going to do the cord for the sign, dark gray also. It's really fun to share the artwork after, so don't be afraid to share what you did, because I don't think any art is bad art. I don't think anybody's a bad artist. Everyone is a good artist. Sometimes we say the more you practice, the better you'll get. I also think sometimes the more you practice, just the more comfortable you get with doing it. So now I'm going to come with a lighter touch, and I'll start with this handle since it's a smaller shape, smaller space that I'm coloring inside of. Go along the edges of the lid. Now I can go faster inside of the trash can itself. Just like that. You can barely see it, but see, it's a light gray. And then same down the body of the can first, because then I can color the inside a lot quicker. I am going to go around the sign. Sometimes you can, if you're working in pencil, you can color right on top of it like we did here. You wouldn't really notice the green on the brown, but on a bright yellow, if I colored the gray on top of the yellow, we probably would see it. So just to be safe, I'm going to color around it first, just to give myself an outline so I don't go over the top of it. And then I can kind of fill in these spaces. I don't have to worry so much, though, about touching the green in his hand with this gray. If I was coloring dark, then I would have to be really careful. So if I was pushing really dark still really hard with my pencil, then I would have to be more worried about showing up in the gray, because when I'm pushing dark, pushing hard, it's a darker color than the green. We have done some green drawings this week, huh? We had the turtle. He had green. What was our drawing on? Oh, coyote. The coyote wasn't green. I was trying to think of what we drew on Monday. I was totally failing me. Took me a minute. I even forgot today was Wednesday. Last night when I was drawing, I had it in my head it was Tuesday today, that yesterday was Monday. I think because my son just started distance learning yesterday, so it felt like a Monday, felt like a first day of school. I'm going to do a little bit of extra shading in here just to kind of add some texture in the can. Tomorrow, we're going back into the water. Yesterday we did a water animal. We're going back into the water and we are actually drawing my favorite animal. Does anyone remember what that is? Any guesses? Or does someone just remember what I said it is? That is what we're drawing tomorrow. We'll see if anybody guesses it right. Do the bottom a little bit darker. Yep, a manatee. Tomorrow we're drawing a manatee, a sea cow. They're like the sloths of the sea. So tomorrow we will do a manatee. Oh, jellyfish. I think jellyfish are the most beautiful, beautiful things. They scare me to death though. I am so worried that one day I'm going to get stung by a jellyfish. All right, so there's my Oscar. You can add, you can add some coloring down here on the bottom if you want to. Like I said, you could add some trash. You could add other Sesame Street characters in with them. But today I'm keeping it just as my Oscar the Grouch and Slimy the Worm, buddies for life. And I'm going to finish with my name. Jellyfish are so beautiful though. Like when they're in the aquarium and I get to look at them, oh, I love it. I can watch them for hours. But if I'm in the ocean, oh my gosh, I think if I saw one, I would move faster than I've ever moved in my entire life. I'm probably more scared of jellyfish than I am of shark. My name, my age, and where I'm from. And that is our Grouch of the day. Hopefully you're not feeling like a grouch today, but sometimes we all do. And if you are, you just ride it out. Tomorrow's always a new day, or maybe you'll feel better in an hour. Sometimes it's moment to moment. Our moods can change. So finish up your drawings, post them onto the group. You can either do it in the Oscar album or on the group page, or follow me and share on Instagram, Draw with Stacy. We have 3 birthdays to celebrate today. We have Angeline, Lucas, and Layla. So happy birthday. I hope you guys do something fun today to celebrate your birthday. Let me flip you around and I'll say goodbye. So thank you very much for drawing with me today. My bangs are doing something weird. Tomorrow we will be doing a manatee. Tomorrow is our late drawing. So tomorrow we don't draw until 3 p.m. And yeah, super excited, very fun. Invite your friends if they're not already here drawing with us, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for drawing with me.